Throughout this movie, something cool would happen, and it would just remind me of Justice League Mortal, the Justice League movie that George Miller was going to make. And it just made me sad. George Miller has the juice for a great comic book movie. He would make such a good one. Please, James Gunn, bring him on board for the DCU. I am begging. What's up, schmucks? I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're ready to talk about Peak. Furiosa Mad Max Saga is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, and is again directed by George Miller, with the script written by Miller himself and Nick Latharis. Latharis? It sounds wrong no matter how I say it. Furiosa tells the story of Furiosa, played previously by Charlize Theron, now played by Anya Taylor-Joy. Furiosa's story begins when she's a little girl, played by Alila Brown, but after being taken from her home and facing tragedy at the hands of Dementis, played by Chris Hemsworth, Furiosa begins an odyssey to get back home and take revenge on Dementis along the way. So normally we'd start with the good and what I liked, and then we would do the bad and what I didn't care for. However, my last video was a harsh look at the new Strangers movie, and it didn't have a the good section because that movie blows. And this review will lack a the bad section because this movie rocks. So let's get into it. First up, Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing. She embodies Furiosa perfectly and feels identical to Charlize Theron's portrayal. It really felt like I was watching the same person. She looks the part, sure, especially by the end, but she plays this so well. She has very few lines in this movie, but she has such a strong physical presence. You know how Robert Pattinson carries himself in The Batman with a heavy reliance on his eyes? Anya Taylor-Joy does that here, and it's incredible. You can see her lock in and focus up and plan in the moment. She's so disciplined in this performance. Anya Taylor-Joy is also a very sweet looking person, but completely transforms into this hardened survivor in this movie, driven by nothing except unrelenting rage and hatred. She's incredible, one of the best performances of the year for sure. On the other side of the protagonist-antagonist dichotomy, Chris Hemsworth is remarkable. He just plays a good villain. He did in Bad Times at the El Royale, and he does here too. Dementis is such an interesting person. He's a charismatic guy, sure, but he's also quite menacing, but to a certain extent, really incompetent. He's a loose cannon who seems to improvise just about everything he does, and Hemsworth handles that type of manic energy so well. He's electric in this movie. Hemsworth also has some of the best line readings out of any performance I've seen this year. There's a part where he screams, "There is no hope!"
Where are you going? So full of hope. There is no hope.
And it's been in my brain just on repeat ever since I saw this movie. He's incredible. I don't think I can sell how good he is in this. I just really enjoyed watching Dementis do his thing, but there's a general sense of uneasiness when he's around because you never really know what he's about to do. He gives a couple brief monologues throughout the movie, and each one is incredibly written in a way that greatly informs the type of person he is. And like I said, Hemsworth is delivering every line just expertly. Again, I sound like a broken record, but he's amazing. Between this, Rush, Extraction, and his varying comedic roles, are we ready to admit that Hemsworth is the best Chris? I also thought this movie was just a perfect prequel. The movie justifies its existence by telling us all we need to know about Furiosa, but it also does a lot to flesh out the world that these movies exist in. George Miller is just so good at this world building shit, man. We learn more about the characters from both, we see setup for things that appear in Fury Road, and the world itself is somehow given more life because of Furiosa. Alright, let's talk action. The action in this movie is god level. This is hands down action movie of the year. My jaw was consistently dropping during this movie's action set pieces. I was locked in for every sequence. Everything is intense and so well paced, and there's a lot of interesting cogs working in these sequences. You can see some of the characters plan and strategize in the moment, and that was awesome. It feels like you're in it. This movie has some insane sound design too. People wear clunky armor and unsheath weapons and fire guns, and things explode and engines roar, and it all sounds incredible. This movie doesn't just sound spectacular though, it also looks spectacular. This movie has some sick fucking camera work. George Miller loves this thing where the camera lunges forward and holds on a closer angle than previous, and I'm sure there's a technical name for that I don't know, but to me, that's like the good version of snap zoom. I fucking hate snap zoom. Beyond camera movements, this movie is beautiful. Every frame is a painting, and some of the transitions in this are immaculate. There's a shot where you see a plant grow to show passage of time, and I thought that was so freaking cool. There's another one where you see varying characters and moments painted across a night sky, and that was just gorgeous. This movie was just 2.5 hours of watching a master at work. They really just don't make them like this anymore. Overall, I absolutely adored Furiosa. This movie invigorated me. It excited excited me. It gave me anxiety. It made me tense up. It made my jaw drop. And it really just made me feel alive. Alright, that'll do it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. If you didn't, then leave a dislike. Subscribe if you want to hear me talk about movies some more, and I will see you next time. Bye!